we did hear from CM Punk. And once again, CM Punk with one of those passive-aggressive lines towards AEW. Like, he just can't help himself. He just can't help himself. He loves to poke the bear.
Yeah. Let me see if me and you were on the same page. I was not a fan of the line for a very specific reason. You?
I was not a fan of the line either. Now, there wasn't a specific reason. I just don't feel like we've moved past this. It feels like a lifetime ago. Why are you still making comments like that?
Let me give you a little bit more of a hint. I wasn't a fan of the line because of something we spoke about yesterday on the show.
What's that?
Sting inducting Luger.
It's a great point. It's a really good point. And you know what, Bully? It didn't get any reaction from the crowd. Nobody reacted to it. Nobody cares. And for those who missed it, like he was talking about how some things change, some things, stay the same. And he says, I work with children. And he mentioned about Seth Rollins, and I work with children was the line that he used in the infamous all-out press conference when he was talking about the locker room in AEW. Now, is that me, like, Bully, let me ask you this. Is that me looking into it a little bit too much, or do you think that was on purpose?
No, anything CM Punk says is on purpose.
Okay.
You said, do I think it's a little too much, or do I think
no,
it's
do you,
no,
do you think
it was a mistake?
No, do you think I'm looking into it too much and that wasn't a shot at AEW?
Read the exact line back. How couldn't it be a shot?
No, I don't.
If it wasn't a shot, I would love to know what other children he's referencing.
And he's also saying how some things change, some things stay the same. I work with children. Again, was the big line that he used at the All Out press conference.
The minute he said that, I was like, oh, because to me, this whole Sting Luger thing, and maybe the Sting Luger thing is a done deal already, but it's not going to do anybody any favors if it's not. I don't know if it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen, I would love to see it happen. We talked about it yesterday. But if you're Tony Khan, right, and you're considering allowing Sting to go induct Luger into the Hall of Fame, and then you hear that last night, especially who it came from, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. Yes or no?
1,000%. And it's also going to be like, why am I even trying? Like, it could be like where Tony Khan might have heard let's just say Tony Khan heard our show and heard your plea, Bully, of like, hey man, just rise above it. Be the better person. That's what this company's supposed to all be about, is like a different path for pro wrestling. And let's just say he heard all those things that you said, Bully, said, you know what? Bully's right. The past is the past. This is good for pro wrestling. At the heart of it, I'm a fan. And then you see people on social media talking about like what Punk said last night. It's like, why bother? Like, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm throwing up my hands and I'm saying, why bother? Why bother? Like, you can't do the right. Like, you're still making passive aggressive comments. There's no reason for it. Guess what, Punk? You won. You won. All right. You're gone. You're in the WWE. I'm sure you're doing very well financially. You're as big a star as you ever was. The fans love you. You're going to have a huge match, maybe even a main event match at WrestleMania. Why go there?
And listen, we're doing is speculating aftermath of, what it could have affected. We don't know. Maybe there was absolutely no chance of getting Sting for Luger, or maybe we're completely off base. Maybe there was a definitive no, and Punk said, I'm going to throw my shot anyway. A million and things could have happened. We are merely speculating here. Here's my point. If there was a chance that Sting was going to be able to Luger, I would have stayed away from that comment because it's not going to do anybody any good. So remember, folks, if.
Whenever he does that, it gets no reaction. The only people who are reacting are the people on social media. The people who are in the arena watching, they don't react at all.
If you go back and you listen, I think I think 30 people reacted.
So is it worth it? So now
No, no, not
it's
at
not
all.
worth it.
Well,
It's not worth it.
no, it's not. I don't. Last night I would have said, if he was like, "Hey, Bubba, I'm going to say this," I'd be like, "Stay away from it." Completely unnecessary. And at the end of the day, Dave, you know what? What you said is so correct. You won. And make no mistake, folks, CM Punk won. CM Punk left AEW with all that negative stigma. Is that the right word? Stigma, Dave?
Yeah.
All that
Yep.
negative stigma surrounding him. And the minute his music hit at the Survivor Series the night he came back, poof, it was gone. And it's been gone for a while. So a line like that, I will just say yes, unnecessary.
And Bully, everybody's moved past it. AEW has moved past it. As much as they use like the Punk footage and all that stuff, which, go back whether you thought that was a mistake or not, they've moved past it. We talked about it. AEW's back on course. The last few weeks have been very good for them. I'm looking forward to Dynamite. Since AEW has started from day one, Bully, from day one, I feel like now there's a complete separation of AEW and the WWE. Like, I don't think their paths are really crossing. I really don't feel like people are really comparing the two anymore. Like, it feels like since any other time in their existence, it feels there's a wide gap between AEW and what they're doing and what WWE is doing right now. What you just did is remind people of it. No, it wasn't on anyone's mind. It's not, nobody's talking about it. So you just brought it up for just the sake of like poking the bear. And this is where like I got to be like, well, you know what? Now it's like I if there's a side to take and it's not about taking, I would take AEW's side. It's like, come on, man, we're past this. We moved on. And maybe we could do some good business. Maybe Tony Khan approving of Sting inducting Lex Luger could help the relationship between those two companies. I don't know.
If anything, it was, and I look at it, and I don't know the specifics, the nuances, all of the little things. But when you look at the Sting Luger thing, the potential of Sting inducting Luger into the Hall of Fame, here, Cornette walking into the ECW arena and shaking Paul Heyman's hand and hugging him because the business that they were about to do with Jerry Lawler and Dreamer. That's the second thing that popped into my mind. An olive branch.
Yes.
Something. An acknowledgement, a nice acknowledgement between the two companies. Hey, this is bigger than the WWE. Hey, this is bigger than AEW. This is about human beings and an opportunity for us to all do the right thing and honor somebody and allow his friend to honor him in the proper way. We all get it. We all get it. Allow Sting to go up there and say the nice things about his friend, about them both being Christians, their devout beliefs and values, and it'll leave for the first time ever. I think it would leave a good taste in AEW fans and WWE fans across the board when it came to both companies. It wouldn't be about a piss and comment or the destroying of a throne or doing a show in Piscataway only to have another company come in and do a show in Newark. You know what I mean? The positioning, the chess moves of where we're doing shows, or the chess moves of I have a pay-per-view on Saturday night and the WWE doing a Saturday night's main event for free. All of this stuff, which is legal in my eyes in the world of pro wrestling. This is all a part of business, and it goes on in every business out there. Coke will always make a move so Pepsi can't gain ground. And McDonald's will always make a move so Burger King can't gain ground. And if you think the WWE is any different, you're wrong. And if you think AEW, when Tony has the position of power, you're wrong. Dave. I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't even know if I've ever told this story before, and it just popped into my head. I've told you about the things that Vince McMahon has taught me over my life. 3 very important one-on-one lessons. Here was the other one. He said, Bubba, wrestlers very rarely have leverage on me. But when they do, and if they don't use it, they're the fools. Dude, that's a heavy-duty lesson to learn from Vince McMahon one-on-one. Just me and him. And he was telling me stories because I had asked him about Blassie Ali and Vince going to Japan and how hot Vince Sr. got at Vince Jr. It was just me and him. And he's like, come on, I'll tell you the story. And I'm like, Vince, I'm on first. He's like, fuck it. I'll tell you the story. I was like, all right, great. And I'm listening to the story, and one word leads to another. And somehow it got to leverage. He said, Bubba, wrestlers never have leverage on me. But when they do, if they don't use it, they are fools. Holy shit. Kid, you will never get one over on me. You'll never hold a gun to my head. You'll never be able to out-negotiate me. But if you have the opportunity to do so, and you don't do it, you're the fool. Wow.
Strong. That is strong.
One of the most powerful lessons I ever learned in pro wrestling. Now, I had to tell that story because it popped into my head, but AEW and WWE with the power moves and Tony's going to do this and they're going to do that, blah, blah.
Totally understandable. It's business. But I will say this, and this is where I'll quote Tommy Dreamer. In this situation, who would be the winner? The fans. It's not about WWE or AEW or business or chairman or stockholders or networks. This is one of the rare occasions where the fans would be the winners. Decisions are being made for the benefit of the fan. Because that's who's going to really benefit, is seeing Sting induct Lex Luger into the Hall of Fame and the fans able to be a part of history and be able to see that. But again, there's so much animosity, and it feels like maybe that could be something that could blow. And then you get that line last night, Bully, and it's just a reminder of, like I heard that line, and most of the time when you hear that line from AEW wrestlers or from WWE wrestlers, it's like you go, yeah, like that's sticking it to them. Last night when Punk said that, it was, really? Like, we're still doing this? Like, come on, it was almost 2 years ago, and we're still doing this? Now, on the other side of it, Bully, that's Punk being Punk. That's what makes Punk who he is. He's going to be that guy that, for the lack of better term, has no problem being the asshole. He kind of reminds you, the fans, of, yeah, dude, I'm still that asshole. Love me or hate me, I don't give a shit. This is who I am. As a fan, it made me groan. And honestly, in the arena, like you said, maybe 30 people. Of 20,000 people, maybe 30 people reacted to it. Unnecessary.
It just uncalled for, unnecessary. I don't know what it did for him. What if going there actually hurt in the long run? I don't know.
And I think for Punk, even though he is the winner, I think Punk likes to remind everybody that he is the winner. Like, you know what? Even though he's moved on, I think Punk, and this is probably, Bully, why he is as successful as he is because he never forgets. He's never going to forget what happened in that situation. He's never going to forget how he was treated by Tony Khan, how it ended, how much he put into it, and how much at the end of the day it failed. He is never, so as successful as he is in the WWE, he's that type of personality that's never going to forget. And that's probably what makes Punk who he is.
I completely understand his personality and why he doesn't want anybody to forget what he's done. Because I've always been one of those people, like, I've told you in the wrestling business, I don't stab people in the back. I'll stab you in the heart because I want to be able to look you in the eye and I want you to know that I'm the one that stabbed you in the heart. Also, I'm the type of person, my dad always used to say, he'd be like, you know what? You might not be there to see it, but everybody gets theirs in the end. And I'm like, no, Dad, I want to be there to see it. I want to see them I want the satisfaction of them knowing that I know that they got what they deserved. I don't want to just sit there, and be like, oh, yeah, good. They got no, I want to be there.
No, it's like the quote Reacher. It's a great TV show on Amazon Prime. He says, I don't want justice. I want revenge. I understand you're going to get your justice, but I want revenge. And Bully, it's the same thing with me. I'm going to be completely honest. As successful as this show has become and this brand, there was one person at Sirius that never believed in me and never believed in this show. And I can't let it go. Like, I can't fucking let it go. As successful and as big as this brand gets, I just want to stick it to that motherfucker. I want to fucking shove his face into it I want him to know, and I want him to know it's me doing it. The guy you didn't believe in, the product you didn't believe in, that became so big, I want you to fucking feel it, man. And I think Punk is like that, Bully. He's not over it by a long shot. Because how do I know? By the comment that he made on live TV last night.
Dude, I know exactly where you're coming from because when me and Devon first started, the way we looked, the whole act, how were you going to take it seriously? Now I look and I see a lot of those people who acted a certain way. There were names in this business who and the listeners know very, very, very well, who were very hard on me early on. When I see these people to this day, I remind them, fuck you. You can't even carry my bags anymore. Just because of how you treated me then. And I know how you feel because, when you first started the show, that person might have been like, blah, 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 blah. But then to get the show where you got it to see the success of the show and the success being right in front of that person's face where the person has to acknowledge the success because the business the show is doing and to still blow it off, that's like a double F you. So I can totally see how, dude, and I hope you get your day where you see that person on the street. And I hope you tell that person right to their face exactly what you want to tell them.
But you know what, though? There's another side to it as well. And I think this is a lot of the fuel for Punk, and that it is fuel. Like, it's sometimes you need that. It's a reminder in your gut that as big as something gets, there's still fulfillment. There's still something there's still a hunger, like the whole Rocky, like Eye of the Tiger, that keeps the eye knowing that there was somebody that felt that way and continued to feel that way. That's motivation, man. And a lot of times you need that motivation to keep going. And maybe Punk, as big as things have gotten for him in the WWE, he needs that reminder of what happened in AEW to keep him going, to keep him motivated. The guy's accomplished everything that you can accomplish, but maybe that's what keeps him motivated at the end of the day.
You know what? Who would be a great person to ask about this? Because it's probably a similar situation. Austin. I wonder how Steve Austin treated Eric Bischoff the very first time he saw him after Bischoff fired him via a fax. Because we know the story. Hell, I was in the Travel Lodge when Austin cut the Monday Night NyQuil promo. I was standing 3 feet away from him as a young boy in ECW, being fired via fax machine, being told no man in black trunks and black boots would ever make it. Like, Bischoff was pretty down on Austin. And then Austin leaves and become Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wonder what that first interaction was like. I mean, I remember the night Bischoff showed up on Raw. I remember that Booker was doing a live shot and they said, somebody's going to walk through, react, but we're not telling you who it was. And Bischoff walks through. I just would love to know how Steve was the first time he saw him. Was he of the, hey, you know what? I won. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Good to see you. You know, I won, blah, blah, blah. Adios. Or was it, hey, mother trucker, remember me? The guy you said that would never make it?
It was motivation for him. Maybe if it wasn't for that moment, and I think you could definitively say, if it wasn't for Bischoff firing Steve Austin, we never would have had Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But you see, there's the ECW thing in between that I think gave Austin the motivation.
Oh, 1,000%. But I'm saying, it's all a trickle down effect.
Right. If the first domino doesn't fall of Bischoff firing him.